Are you all aware of a disease called HLH? This disease can be very fatal to your children. My niece was actually born with this disease, and she was diagnosed before the age of 1, so I researched it to find out a little bit about what she had. So today I'm going to tell you about HLH. HLH is short for hemophagocytic lymphohistiocytosis. I will introduce to you a little bit about what HLH is first, then I would like to discuss some treatments, and last I would like to discuss some of the victims and their foundations. HLH is a rare immune disorder. It is a white blood cell count that is very, very high. It actually eats your red blood cells, and they stick to your liver and your spleen, the white blood cells do. So your immune system is very, very low, and you can't fight off any infection at all. It is genetic. It can be passed down from both of your parents if they have the gene that together makes the HLH, or it can be caused by immunodeficiencies or other like bacterial infections. HLH is studied in Cincinnati, Ohio. This is the only place that it is researched because it is so rare. Not a lot of money founded for this HLH goes to this at all because it's so rare. They don't know a lot about it, so they don't put a lot of money towards it at all. Some of the symptoms for HLH is a very high fever, such a high fever that you can actually go into seizures. You can have a body rash that covers your entire body off and on. Your red blood cell and your platelet count are very low. You can have an enlarged spleen, very large lymph nodes. You can have difficulty coordination, sudden blindness, and you can actually go into a coma. My niece was actually in a coma for 18 days straight. It mainly affects small children and infants. As we grow older, our immune system builds up within us, so it attacks small children and infants. That's why it is so fatal to them, because their immune system can't fight it off at all. And with the disease being an immune deficiency disorder, it really just wipes out everything that's good in your body. So now that I've told you a little bit about what HLH is, I would now like to talk about some of the treatments that people with HLH go through. First, you have to take a lot of rounds of antibiotics and antiviral medications. These are for the infections that you may get while you're going through this process. You actually get sick very often with a low immune system. Anything such as a common cold can be very fatal because your body can't even fight that off like we can. Several rounds of chemotherapy knock out your immune system so that you can, in hopes of build a new one. Also, you take lots of steroids to suppress your immune system along with that. Very last, a bone marrow transplant is needed. What happens is they find a bone marrow donor, an exact genetic match, the same as you, and they pump their bone marrow cells into your body in hopes that your body won't reject them and build a new immune system on from there. So now that I've covered this fatal disease and some of the treatments, I would now like to talk about some of the foundations for the victims. My sister has actually talked to the parents while she was going through this. They actually reached out to her, and it helped her a lot for them to talk to her when she was going through this hard time. My first foundation is the Matthew and Andrew Akin Foundation. It was actually two boys that were brothers, and they were both born with the disease, sadly, and they died within 8 months apart of each other. The next one I would like to talk about is the Lamb's Lighthouse. He was also a toddler that passed away from this disease. Very sad. So in conclusion, now that I told you about this disease, the treatments, and some foundations for the victims, I just hope that you all are aware now of some of the symptoms, just in case somebody in your family or your friend or your children are born with this, because not a lot of medical personnel around this 4-state area knew anything about it because it is so rare. It was diagnosed in Kansas City and in St. Louis both. So I hope you all are now aware of what it is. And I just hope one day that they find a way to cure every single child who has it. My sources used for this speech was the MatthewandAndrewAtkin.org, Histio.org, eMedicine.medscape.com, RareDiseases.info.gov, LambsLighthouse.org, and CincinnatiChildren's.org. And if you could please take a moment and go to MatthewandAndrewAtkin.org and LambsLighthouse.org and look up on their stories, maybe donate to this rare disease fund. Thank you so much.